calling Shannon.
You have reached the voicemail box of Shannon. At the tone, please record your voice message. When you are finished recording, you may hang up or press pound for more options.
Hey Shannon, it's Sean. I called back. Rick said he wanted to talk. I really need you to try to find the time to talk as well. At some point when you're sober. It's pretty important, that sober part, Shannon. I don't know how much I can express that. Be safe. Bye. It's something that is important. See, that's the difference between autism and alcoholism. I'm afraid of things that actually happen, whereas she's embarrassed. She's afraid of judgment. She's afraid of what other people might think. Rick is afraid of what other people might think. These are both people who told me that I shouldn't care what other people think. The thing is, there are very real consequences for what other people think. Looks like I just got a message from someone. Shannon's picking her son up from school. That means she's sober. That's a good thing. Now, as far as Rick goes, I don't mind giving him the time to say the things that he wants to say. However, he has to listen as well. And because so many people feel that it's their job to talk over me, well, I'm going to go first. That's the thing with a lot of people, is that they have so many things that they want to say that if I let them say it first and then I try to speak my piece, I get hung up on. That was the issue that I was dealing with Miss Amanda. But if you notice with that video, I was the one hanging up on her. I was the one giving her the treatment that I dealt with. Now for me, I spent well over a year trying to get Miss Shannon to listen, to understand. But because of her alcoholism, she's not able to. During the day, she's not able to. So I do my best to try to deal with that. Because the people that were offering to help were just offering to help in words. Miss Shannon was offering actual help. She was offering the actual help that I needed. And that was important. The problem is that her alcoholism got in the way. Now, what her fears are, they're legitimate fears. She fears that she'll get her kids taken away if people find out she's an alcoholic. Well, she's not a violent alcoholic. That's the thing, is that she's not mean to people. Well, she is. She is mean. She's verbally abusive. But not to her kids. She's that way towards Rick. And anytime anybody tries to say anything about her alcoholism, she gets very defensive and angry and starts projecting. Saying mean, hateful things, whatever it takes to try to make them feel like they're nothing for bringing it up. With Rick, as pissed off as he is at me, first of all, I understand why he's pissed off. But second of all, I also still stick up for Rick. Now, why is that? Because he takes a lot of punishment. He's in a subservient position like I was. But unlike me, he wasn't in nearly as fucked up of a situation. However, that's debatable, because he has a son that he's having a severe custody battle with, and Rick isn't a bad person. Now, as far as what he does to Miss Shannon's daughter, yeah, that technically is abuse, but her daughter isn't a child, so it's not child abuse, it's abuse against a disabled adult. the same thing that I was dealing with. But also, being as he is being attacked and he is military trained, that's what he reverts to, is his military training. That's why he always goes for the throat. That's why he goes for the grr, for the anger, for the hate. Miss Shannon, she can't remain calm in that situation. She's freaking out because she's being physically abused by her daughter, same as Rick, same as me. I'm the only one who's capable of remaining calm in that situation. But also, I grew up getting my ass kicked, and I have a much higher pain threshold than either one of these two. So it's not that they're bad people, because they're not. They're unable to control their anger. Me, I have to control my anger at all points in time. I present it on videos, present my emotions on videos, because it's the only place I'm allowed. If I try to talk to Shannon about it, then she talks over me. And then in the videos, where I'm not in the subservient position, I get to do the talking. I get to scream over people if need be. Now, at my dad's house, it was a very different situation. He would corner me and scream at me. At Shannon's, if I needed to leave, I could take a walk. And I did take a walk. Multiple times. And it wasn't because she was being mean to me. It was because she was being mean to Rick. Now, I understand they don't want that out there, but the reason that I bring it up is always the same. It's because this is the stuff that sends me into a fucking panic attack. This is the stuff that shuts me down. I'm trying for months and months and months to get her to listen, and I'm doing it as nicely as possible. But then, when they feel challenged, well, then they want to talk. Yeah. And then they want to do the same things that I am very, very much into doing now. See, he calls me a coward and things like that in my YouTube. Typing stuff like that. Well, whether he calls me a coward or not, I'm willing to listen to what he has to say. But only if he's willing to listen to what I have to say. And that's important. If only your side matters, then no, there's no reason to proceed. Now, if they're able to answer those questions and be honest about it, and be understanding about it, that makes all the difference in the world. Otherwise, they're just hurting me. They're hurting my case. They're going out of their way not to understand. And for me, being autistic, the reason that I have these meltdowns is because I know what abuse is coming. I know what abuse is coming from experience. People say, you play victim, Sean. No, I don't. I'm dealing with very fucked up situations. Situations that people who aren't willing to understand aren't going to. They're not going to be able to help. If Shannon only has time for me when she's drunk or when she wants to complain about the things going on in her life, then she's not going to understand what's going on in mine that I need help with. If there's only 2 hours, let's say, that she's able to help me, right? But she's drunk, then it ends up being 15 minutes worth of help. And an hour and 45 minutes worth of, well, how drunk people are. And I'm sure many of you guys know how they are. Not all drunk people are the same. Some people who are drunk, they get bipolar. Some people who are drunk are angry drunks. Some people who are drunk are violent drunks. Some people who are drunk are happy drunks. And some drunks, you never know which one you're going to get. With Shannon, at least I know she's not someone who's going to get physically violent. Not ever. Now, if I were to attack Shannon, I do believe that she would defend herself. Same thing with me. I'm not ever going to go physically attack somebody. But if I am being physically assaulted, I'm going to defend myself. If you bind me and then choose to assault me after I'm bound, like the police did, you did something really fucked up. Now, as far as me projecting, when I'm letting Shannon know that I'm not able to communicate with her because she's drinking and she is an alcoholic and I have to deal with that, I'm not projecting anything onto her. I'm stating a fact. I'm explaining why it is that I am having difficulties and why I need her to sober up. But she always 6 o'clock to 6:30, it's time to start drinking. That's difficult for me to deal with. Because that's after 6:30 is the only time that she is able to make. And much like with Teresa Orne, well, much like with most alcoholics, they don't hear what you have to say when they're drunk. They don't. They forget it within 30 seconds. They're so busy with their one-track mind, the one thing that they want to say, that is the most important thing in the world. Now, the way that alcoholics act and the way that people who are autistic act when they're being abused are very much the same. But the difference is it actual abuse or is it perceived abuse? Shannon screaming, that's actual abuse. For me, being shut down because of it, that sucks. For her, she perceives abuse. Perceives that her boyfriend is cheating on her because she's drunk. Or perceives that the guy who's working on her house is trying to somehow cheat her by being there. And then she's mean because she just assumed. And it's difficult for me because I have to deal with that situation often. Not just with Shannon. At Sally Treon's, it was a very abusive environment. Were those people abusive to me, though? No, they weren't. Was Shannon abusive to me? No, she wasn't. Was my dad abusive to me? Very much so.